Welcome back everybody to Boxing Bonanza. I'm joined once again by Jack Shaw at Shaw Martial Arts Academy. To start off, brother, how's things?
Yes, but all good. Just getting, like we just said, just getting over a little knee injury. I picked up in my last fight, so I've been rehabbing and physio since about August, since I had the diagnosis. But yeah, coming nice now. Another week or two, I think I'll be back 100%, and just getting back to the flow of training and taking a couple of lumps and bumps again.
Obviously, like you're out the camp at the minute. So, what is like the average day for you? You're a busy man lately. You've got the podcast going on. You're training, helping the other boys, and
yeah, I still try and stay busy. Like I'm never really out. Like people say about fight camps and stuff. Obviously, to me, that just means doing a couple of extra sessions and picking up the intensity, sparring and stuff a bit. But I'm never really out to the gym, John. I'm like two a day, Monday to Friday. If I haven't got a fight coming up, I'll kind of have the weekend off rather than just the one day. I'm still ticking over. Obviously, I'm able to spar a great deal rather than like the last couple of weeks because of the injury. But yeah, still keep busy. Obviously, got a podcast, which is another thing to take up my time. Again, walking the dogs and playing COD, but that's about it. As long as I train in the morning and night, what I do in between, and I kind of wing on the day. Like,
what is it? The thing you do, Twitch, is it?
Twitch, yeah, Twitch. Jack Shaw, no, I might know Jack Shaw UFC on Twitch. Yeah,
get on.
Yeah, I've been on there for a while, mate, but get a bit better now with this new COD. Get back on there.
So it's been a while since I come down last. A lot has happened. Unfortunately, picked up your first loss against Simone. Could you just talk us through our fight a little bit?
Yeah, look, it was one of them. We knew going into the fight it was a dangerous fight. I mean, in the top 15 in the UFC, everyone's a dangerous fight. So it's not like I didn't go in there to lose, obviously, but you know at that level there's always that chance you can pick up a loss. In terms of the fight, I thought it was going quite well.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't. Like my old man said to me, he was in it till he wasn't, kind of thing. Like the first round was close, probably could have gone either way. He fought kind of how we fought, but then he also didn't. He wrestled hard, but I think because he wasn't having too much success with the takedowns and because I was keeping him on the jab a little bit, he kind of backed up a little bit more. I expect him to be a little bit more aggressive. Was kind of chasing the fight a little bit, got clipped, and the rest was kind of a blur. But it's one of them. I think a lot of good has come from it. Because people used to say to me, how will you cope when you lose? My nan used to say to me all the time, how will you ever cope when you lose? And it's like, I've lost boxing fights and grappling fights. I know what it's like to lose, and the sport we in, anyone can pick up a loss with them little gloves on. But yeah, a lot of good has come from it. I've took like a much needed rest, to be honest. It kind of feels like I've been in fight camp after fight camp for like the last 3-4 years really. Done some tests on my body, obviously moving up a weight category now because I think I've just outgrown the bantamweight weight class really, and doing the tests up in Liverpool and stuff kind of put that in black and white for me. So, but obviously if I'd won the fight, I probably wouldn't have gone and done them tests because I would have been ranked a little bit higher and I would have wanted to carry on the momentum. But yeah, I mean, other than that though, you know, it was a good win for Ricky. He did really well, and I do expect him to cause a lot of the top boys some trouble now next year.
After the initial shot, I think it was the right hand. I think was it. Was you a bit like, fuck? I'm fucked by her, or was it like you got this? No, you got this. Just stay calm, but your body wasn't connecting with your mind. Because on the temple.
No, it was a blur pretty much. I've obviously been clipped in training and stuff. I've never been put down in a fight or even in training. I've never been put down. I've got a pretty solid chin, I like to think. But he just caught me in that spot behind the ear. It kind of just froze your
equilibrium.
It was funny because like I didn't watch the fight back for about 6-7 weeks. But when I watched it back, the way I went down, it was like a delayed reaction, and I fell on my back. But in my head at the time, it felt as if I kind of like fell on my side, and I looked up and I seen him coming in, and then next thing I was in the arm triangle. So it was just kind of like the lights got shut off that split second, and I kind of like come round, and I must have been fighting on instinct because I remember coming round and him having me in the choke. I don't remember the scramble, the shots, the trying to roll. I don't remember that. I must have just been like my body fighting on autopilot. But yeah, it was I can remember, like, even up until a couple of seconds before the shot, I can remember pushing him. I can remember him going for a takedown and not getting it, and just got a little bit lazy with the jab. I think I was trying to push the action a little bit, try and sway it in, because he was building a good bit of momentum, to try and sway it in my way, then in my favour. I think I was trying to push the action probably a little bit too much looking back. Got lazy or got sloppy, and boom, caught me.
So in your most honest way, how did it feel, obviously, when you come around from that and everything, you get up and his hand's being raised now, in your honest opinion, how did that feel at that time?
It was just kind of like, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, but at the same time it was kind of like I was disappointed, not disappointed in myself, but disappointed for like my team and my family and myself a little bit to an extent, because, you know, we sacrifice, as fighters, we sacrifice a lot in fight camp. My team sacrifice a lot, you know, like I've got coaches away from their family during fight camp. I had obviously Carl and my old man over in New York with me for 10 days, like, you know, my old man's got a family in a gym to run, Carl's got kids and grandkids, and I'm taking them away, as well as I'm being away from my missus and my family for 10 days. So there's a lot to sacrifice. It wasn't kind of like I was disappointed in myself, because it's one of them, you know, I was obviously disappointed to lose, but I wasn't like, it wasn't kind of where I like thought, oh, I could have done this in training and that in training. It was just like, just disappointed for me and the boys and the coaches. I know everyone and my teammates, I know they look up to me a little bit, and they all like put me on this pedestal, and they kind of like, a couple of them, the younger boys especially, kind of like trying to aspire to be like me a little bit.
Yeah.
I know they probably took the loss a lot harder than I did. I know my family probably took the loss a lot harder than I did. So it was just that devastation for them, and a little bit of, you know, I was kind of over it, but to be honest, within a couple of hours, it was like, well, it was never as bad as you're going to think it's going to be. It lingered on me a little bit, the effect that it had on maybe the coaches and the team. Not like letting them down, but obviously they're going to be disappointed as well, because they want me to win.
Obviously, you briefed over what your father said just now. You was in the fight until you wasn't. Was that his advice or initial talk to you back at the changing rooms? What was the talk when you got back?
Thinking about it, I mean, it was a couple of months ago now.
I
can't really remember having too much of a talk in the hotel. It was kind of just like the initial keep your head up, and, you know, you've fucking done yourself proud and all that. My manager Graham texted me, also all the boys had texted me. But the first time we spoke about it was in the gym, actually. I come down to watch the boys train on the Monday or the Wednesday. I think it was the Wednesday, so we didn't get back till Monday. So I come down to watch the boys train on the Wednesday, and then we sat over on the steps for there. And we had a little chat about it, and he was like, he said exactly that. He was like you haven't gone out there and got fucking dominated. You know, like you've gone out there and gone dominated, and people are going to be like, oh, well, he's not at that level. He was like, he was very much in the fight. You know, arguably even won the first round. Even if I didn't win the first round, there's plenty of positives up until the finish. So he was like, you know, don't be disheartened and think you're not at that level, or you've got to do this to your skill set and that to your skill set, because you was in it till that was his exact words. You was in it till you were fucking in it. So that was it. It wasn't him like trying to massage my ego, but then also it wasn't him trying to be like, you should have done this and you should have done that. It was like, look, this is where we are. This stuff we done well. This stuff obviously we can do better, but don't kind of be too hard on yourself, because, you know, he wasn't out of the fight until obviously the finish.
Yeah. Like, you know, like obviously now a couple of weeks after and stuff, I know going on about a bit, but, you know, for us mortals who are not at your level, it's hard to get the mindset of someone of yourself, like, do you know what I mean? But what do you think it is that made you take it easier than what some other people do? Some other people take a loss like it's the end of the world, you know?
Yeah.
What made you put that positive spin on it?
I think I'm just a realist. I think ever since I've kind of like been a professional, as much as training is my whole life and MMA is my life, it's also not. Like I've always said I'm not a fighter at heart. I'm a martial artist. I started martial arts at 6 years of age, so it was always kind of ingrained into me that winning and losing is part of the journey, part of the sport. Everyone wins, everyone loses. You know, we can't let a loss define us. If you lose, it's not about, what's the old saying, not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get back up. And also, I just think, I kind of just sat there, and after the loss, I was like, well, there's obviously trolls and stuff online, but everyone who really means something to me, or whose opinion I respect, still felt the same way about me after the fight. Like my family, my mother, my father, my missus, the boys at the gym, my friends outside the gym, my family, obviously my extended family. They were just kind of, you know, nothing really changed. And I've always kind of like separated my life and my sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I have a bad session in the gym, I'll be pissed off until I get home, and it's kind of like, right, leave it in the gym and address it tomorrow. And I think it was the same with the loss. It was like, you've lost, suck it up, get on with it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I was kind of thinking, what's dwelling on it going to do? You know, I can sit and dwell on it. All I want is not going to make it go away. It's still fucking lost. So it's like, suck it up, get better, and get on with it. Life goes on at the end of the day. Like, my mate Lee Bart said to me, listen, after next week's UFC, it'll be last week's news, and no one will give a fuck.
Yes.
It's the same as Stylebender this weekend. He probably feels fucking terrible that he lost. There's another UFC on Saturday now, then you'll be last week's news in a week's time. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the sun always comes up in the morning, and the moon always comes out at night. The days and time non-stop because you won or lost a fight. And I know if I'm winning a fight as well, like you're on top of the fucking world when you win, but within 3-4 days, you go from there back down to normal. It's the same with a loss. Except with a loss, you probably go from down there back up to normal. I think it affects different people differently, obviously, but I'm glad it affected me the way it did.
When you say about obviously the fans online, the trolls and stuff like that, for fight fans, especially for such brutal sports, the fans are such absolute bitches, and I've never seen anything like it sometimes, especially with boxing and MMA. Did you get much of the trolling, or? Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, but no, I didn't. If I look at it in hindsight, it was probably 99% positive and 1% of wankers who've never had a fight in their life. But that is what they are. Basically, all these people online want is they want a reaction so they can go to their friend, oh look, I had a bite out of him, and it's like, you know, I can't say I do it all the time because every now and then you do react and pitch back into them, but it's like, it's not even 99%, 100% of the people who are commenting shit, and I say this all the time, I've said it on the podcast 5-6 times this back, but if you haven't got a profile picture and you were commenting and abusing a fighter because they lost, or just abusing a fighter in general, 100% of the times because you're not happy with your own life. You know, and they know deep down they would never even know the feeling because they never risk getting in there. Like, that's why I always say to people who do try and troll me, it's like, alright, but enjoy your 9 till 5 then, because I'm still living the dream. I still got my family and my friends. I still make a very good living out of doing what I'm doing. I'm living, in hindsight, I'm living my dream. This is what I dreamt of as a kid. So you enjoy your time on the building site or in the office, making your fucking 20 grand a year. So you crack on doing that, and I'll crack on doing me, and you know, we'll see who's where in fucking 50 years time.
Yeah, man. Now that you're moving forward, not only are you coming back with all guns blazing, you've gone up a weight as well. Obviously you just briefed on it now. Tell us about the move up and how that come about.
Well, it's kind of been in the back of my mind for a couple of fights, but like I said, when you're winning and the momentum's it's kind of hard to take. You know, you have a tough weight cut, but you go out there and get a good performance, you kind of forget about how tough the weight cut was. And my old man and Carl have been at me for a couple, fucking hell, knocking on 18 months probably, about not about moving up the weight, but kind of like, oh look, do you think we're a bit big for this weight? Because like the weight cuts were brutal, and I was overly big for that weight class, but obviously I went to bantamweight at 22 years of age. I'm now 27.
Growing into a man as
when
well.
I was 22, I'd been training full time a year. I've now been training full time 6 or 7 years. So it's like basically the deciding factor to do the test was when I fought in March. I had a really tough weight cut, but we kind of put that down to coming back from Christmas a little bit heavier than I normally would be. Just starting camp too heavy basically. So the goal between the March fight and the July fight was right before, straight after March, right, a week off the diet, it was like, right, let's keep our weight at about 72, 73 kilo, which is around about 160 pound, give or take. So I fight at 135, so 25 pound, it sounds a lot, but over 12 weeks is not a lot. It is a lot, but it's not a lot at the same time. So I kept them. My weight didn't go above 73 kilo. I floated between like 70 to 72 kilo, which is pretty average walk around weight. But then the weight cut for the actual fight, so the final water cut, was as tough as the one in March, despite keeping the weight lower. So I started to think in my head like, well, maybe my body's just not reacting and it shouldn't be down at this weight. So there's a guy up in Liverpool, Paul Reeves, my S&C coach now, and I've known my old man for years, and he was like, look, got connections with I think it's the John Lennon University or something like that in Liverpool. He's like, we'll do you a DEXA scan for free. We'll do you all the blood tests for free. We'll do you a BMR test for free. Just because he's seen me fight weeks and he's kind of been like, look, I think you should just get it tested.
Yeah. So
it was kind of in the back of my head because like, so we done these tests. Cut a long story short, and they were kind of, look, you're too big for the weight class. This is how many calories you should be having a day without training, and it was kind of like, that's fucking enough. That's more than what I would be having. I was training 3-4 times a day. So, and they were like, I was like, we done tests. I was calcium deficient from the weight cuts. My lean muscle mass was pretty much non-existent, and like he said, that's from where you're fucking running every single day to get your weight down all the time. So kind of spoke to asked him for his advice, spoke to my nutritionist Jordan, spoke to the team, and they were like, look, if the doctors kind of tell you if you keep doing this, you're gonna end up having liver and organ problems, and you're seriously, you're affecting your health in the long term. I was like, no, I got no. It sounds, I got no issue with fucking dying in the cage, but I don't want to be dying or coming close to dying in a sauna or a bath.
Yeah.
Fight. I know what I signed up for when I go in there and fight. I don't want to fucking die in a sauna or pass out in a sauna, or even like not. All right, let's take that extremeness out of it, right? Let's not say death, but let's say fucking. I get paid a good amount of money to fight, right? There's no secret. Imagine I have to lose out on that money, so I passed out weight before the fight. And I don't get no bonus payment or nothing like that to keep me covered for the next fight camp. So it was like, let's just fucking try it. And it's been going great. I've been doing a lot more weights. I used to do virtually no weights once a week. It was all conditioning and cardio, and like I've got a new strength program. I'm on a new diet. I'm obviously a little bit heavier now than what I would usually have to stay at the bantamweight, and I just feel like I feel the world of good.
Well, what about, did you notify the UFC?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't notify him straight away. We kind of like, obviously I had knee issues and stuff like that, so I didn't want them thinking, oh, he's pulled out of the fight because of weight issues.
Yeah.
But obviously I had the paperwork, I have MRIs, consultants and stuff like that. But notify the UFC, and they are kind of awful there anyway. They don't really want people cutting weight. I know at featherweight I can be a lot more active. Like bantamweight, and 2 fights a year is kind of enough. With a weight cut, with featherweight, I can probably fight 3-4 times a year. I can fight on 4 or 5 weeks' notice if I got to. I just feel so much better at the weight. Like I said, started sparring a little bit the last 2 weeks. I feel stronger, feel more energized. I can feel myself now for training. You know what I mean? The focus of my fight camp now can be on getting better, getting sharper, and making sure I'm fight ready rather than let's just fucking make sure the weight's down. And you see a lot of boxers fall into the same trap. There's so many guys like. Liam Williams is an example I always think of. Like when he fought, I think he used to fight at 154, something like that, didn't he?
Like middle,
and he kind of like, he was always fucking good, but you could see like when he went up to that new weight class, he was just on fire. He started knocking people out, and you could see he had an engine for days, and it was just like you watched him on Instagram and stuff, and it's like that's a guy who's fueled to train and fueled to fight, not fueled to make sure he makes weight. And there's a lot of guys in UFC that have gone down the same route. People like Robert Whittaker, who was killing himself at welterweight, goes up to middleweight and becomes the champion. So, like Volkanovski, who's featherweight now, is going up to lightweight to challenge for the belt. So I think there's definitely something to it. I think the sport's moving in that direction now. But like everything, man, time will tell.
Yeah, 100%. So what news can we expect from you soon? Was there any news on the return yet?
Yeah, we have ironed up a date. We have been given a date. It's not till the first quarter of next year. Obviously, they've took into consideration. I'm only now coming back to sparring, so they said they don't want to rush me back, and we end up getting injured. They like take it easy till Christmas, and you know, let's look at this date in the year, so I can't say fuck all on camera.
Go on, give me some big news.
We'll be everywhere.
I'll just check it on the
Dino, what the fuck are you doing? But we kind of, it'll be first quarter of next year. It won't be too soon after Christmas. It's a nice date. It gives me a chance to enjoy Christmas and come back with a bang there next year. No names yet, but I'm sure that'll come now, even the next 2 weeks, so obviously after Christmas.
Happy days. So before we finish off, have we got any bit of advice for any up and coming fighters or a bit of motivation for them?
Yeah, fucking hell. Like, we got so many youngsters here now. I feel like people are going to start thinking I'm some sort of fucking life guru or something. But just my advice, just listen to your coaches is the biggest one.
Sorry, Bev, go on.
Yeah, what would you say?
9
times out of 10, it'll take, like, focus on yourself and what you can control and enjoying it. 9 times out of 10, it takes care of yourself. And if it don't, it ain't through laugh and try it. But when you focus on being, you want the money and the fame, and you kind of take shortcuts on the rest, and then it's like, all of a sudden then you wonder why the results are not going your way. But if you give it your all and they don't go your way, at least you can sit in the pub at fucking 16 and think, well, do you know what? I did everything I could do. Yeah. I would hate to be that guy who sat there like as an old man and think, oh, I should have done this different, I should have done that. Oh, if I just trained a little bit harder, or if I just committed myself a little bit more. You know, if you can control it, and the rest will take care of itself. But yeah, don't burn yourself out. It's a tough old game to be bollocks by 20 years of age.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining me once again, Jack. You're the man. Thank you, man.
Thank you, boys. Subscribe to the Tanked Up Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, boy.